Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and thank you for joining me in my little studio, right? So you're now with Robert Hagan, who is an artist. I'm not an embroiderer, I don't bake cakes, I don't do anything other than actually paint pictures. So that's all I'm sort of empowered to do these days. And that's all I really want to do, because it's a lovely passion, it's a lovely thing to be involved in, because you can spread your wings and you can open your shoulders and you can do whatever you really want to do when you want to do it. Right. That being the case, sometimes what you need to do before you start painting is get yourself in the right frame of mind to get it right. Now, if I'm doing, say, a romantic painting, then I'll sort of get myself dolled up. Get in the spirit of things, you know. I mean, if you're going to go to a Mardi Gras, there's no good going on there with military outfit, right? That's sort of for war, right? What you need to do is get yourself sort of all primed up, get yourself geared out so that you're ready to rock and roll with the particular nature of the occasion, all right? So if I was, for example, going to, the other thing is to any tension you've got, get rid of it. Now, that's one of the most important things, because sometimes we approach painting in this sort of bad state of mind. If it is, bam, get it, another one, right? Just like that. When it's not looking, backhander, forehander, okay? Bang, I forgot. Now that is called a king hit, and that's what we need in painting. We need to generate activity, motivation, and conclusion. Okay, so I'll put it over here, I'll untangle myself. I'll just leave that sit there. But as you can see, I'm geared up here today with a variety of different hats. I'll just take this one off. I'll put it over there on my dolly. That's what I'll call that Marilyn there. Marilyn. This is Marilyn. Meet Marilyn Monroe. There's Marilyn Monroe there from Australia. All right. And you can meet Dolly Monroe from Australia here. So this is about a sort of hat because it lets the light through, right? So if I was going to work out in the garden, for example, I'd use this hat here. If I was going to go to a ball, right, and want to be the belle of the ball, I'd wear this one here to let the light stream through and show my beautiful features. Right. Now, let's do a painting. So that's what we're here for. This is what we did last week. Now that one, folks, is, they asked me, I said, look, why don't we just let someone have it? So I put it up on eBay as it is there. I didn't do any more to it. So it comes like, it's about 12 inches by 14 inches, or around about that. It's a good little painting. It's a great little painting, actually. Here's the palette we used. And if you go on the Facebook last week, you'll see exactly how I did that. Don't ask me now how I did it, because I wouldn't have a clue. But I'm going to do something like that. Only this time we're going to have a horse. Now I need a horsey sort of outfit, which I don't have. So it looks like I'm going to I'll do a mare rather than a stallion. I'll do a mare, so I'm dressed, I've got a sort of cowboy, cowgirl type dress on. Right, this is it here. Notice the gold tint. I like the touch of gold in there. That's sort of my sort of fashion. So we've started back here. Remember how this evolved? We've just got a couple here to remind us where we started from, showing how we do this wet layering technique. And then we started to develop a narrative, a storyline. That's Graham there. Graham's actually behind the camera. That's Graham's favourite bird there, and that's Pelican, Bill Pelican. And then we went up here a bit further, and we kept on evolving the whole sort of storyline, the narrative, until we end up with that. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do that, but show you how you can just switch from one thing to the other. Be versatile. Don't be sort of stuck in the mud, right? Be versatile. You know, just dance around a few uppercuts, all right? See how you do that? Be quick, put it. Sometimes an open hand, sometimes a knife, sometimes a knife front, and every now and again a knife kick. That knife kick's a good one. Right, so back over here. So now we're going to do that background. Hang on, unless my brush, my Robert Hagan signature brush just fell apart. I'm going to use that background and put a horse in it with water. So, think versatile, think different, think out of the box. Use something that you've already got as an anchor for the next painting. That's the lesson today. Now what have I got there? I'll just turn my hat around. So here we go. I'm going to take that same photograph. I'll post this up. This is what I'm going to use. There's just 3 photographs. I'm going to put them together. This is the one for that one there we did last week. Now I'm going to take a little bit of that. And here we go. With the fan brush. Now notice how I use this fan brush. Right, a little bit of red in there. Keep on moving the colours around. There's a bit of sky in that one. So I'm going to swing this over here, add a little bit of yellow to it. And put it up in there like that. Just flash. You can't see much of that, but it's there, and you will see it as we go on. It's just a sort of a little bit of a relief in the density. All right, so there we go. So we've got looking across there. I'll take that across a bit more and throw a bit more yellow in here. So there we are. We've got a little bit of a sky sort of thing creeping in here like that. Now let's put in this shadow and try and work up a little bit of foliage. That is ultramarine blue, that is alizarin, and that is vermilion. And those 3, I'm just going to put in a bit of a dark. Just break it up. We got dark down into here. So I'm going to push that dark right into there, throw a bit of yellow into that mix. Look at that. Look at that lovely dark there. That is good. See this brush, how good it is? Just put little bits of like random foliage sitting behind that part there. I'll put a bit of dark on top of that so it's sort of joined in with this other part. There we go, now we're getting there. Where's my dogs? My dogs will be telling me we're going really well now. I want a bit of a... there we go, nice bit of warmth there. Get that yellow going. Here we go. Now we can wind up where this light's coming through. We've got some foliage in here in light. So we're going to just push a little bit of this orangey colour. Maybe across there as well. That's got us now going. Here we go. Down we go. Bit of green in there, bit of vermilion.
Sherry wants to know, are you going to talk about Las Vegas classes?
Now, as I'm going along here, it occurred to me the other day, I was talking to Graham about this. He said, what are you going to do, Dad, about some workshops this year? I said, good question. I'm down for 2 or 3 in England, but I haven't made up my mind for America. And of course the problem in America is that last year it really did knock me around quite a bit, going everywhere, right? So I can't do that. It's just too much for me. I'm sure you'd understand that. I mean, get a bit more paint over here, put it in here. It's a bit too much of a... it took me about three months to get over it. And so it was quite an ordeal. Let's put a few trees in there. Right there, just add a little bit more variety in here, a bit more shadows cutting through. up here and put these trees in here. Just a suggestion of the trunks. We'll hold one down here like this. Now, Jop's with us today. Jop hasn't been here for a while. He's been out on his own, building his house and doing other things, agricultural. He's growing crops and generally looking after himself pretty well, as Jop always does. Right, so we've got some trees in there. And coming back into here. Now, more about the workshops. So what I decided, what I thought I'd do, folks, was this. So the workshops, I really can't traipsy around the world driving here 1,000 miles, 1,000 miles here, 1,000 miles there. Two things. One, it's exhausting. Two, it's costly. Because every time, if there's a week or so between workshops, I've still got to stay somewhere. And each night it costs around about $100 a day to support me. So, you know, 2 or 3, a week and a half between events is a fair whack. It might seem like if we have a workshop, we've got, say, 12 people there, and the rate, say, $120 a day, that there's a good amount of money there. When I add the hotel bills, and then the cost of the car rental, and then the cost of the hotels in between events, I'm basically, well, it's costing me money actually. So what I decided to do, rather than simply not do them, I need to go back to America this year, and I like Las Vegas, or Lost Wages, and it's a place where there's good entertainment, there's great shows, the climate's very benign if you get yourself an air conditioner, cost of living is reasonable, and it's cheap to fly into, and it's cheap to fly out of, more than almost any other place in the world, as Las Vegas. So, one, the flights in and out are cheap if you buy them early. Two, accommodation is also cheap if you hunt around, because the whole nature of Las Vegas is to get people in there and have them stay there. So the get-in part, the flying-in part, is very economical. It's very friendly to the pocket. The staying there part is also very friendly to the pocket if you look around and find something that's not over the top. You're not there for entertainment, unless I'm entertaining, you're there to learn painting. So it's a different mandate that's driving you to be there. So given that, you approach it with that sort of those thoughts in your head, with a bit of keen groundwork and a bit of keen research, you'll find your way to there at a very reasonable price. If I can load up the dates of when I'm going to be there, then you can set about looking up and searching out the best deal you can get. Right? So I'm going to possibly rent a house there. I'll look around for a community centre or some other place that I can rent as a venue. If not, I'll possibly use the house I've got as a venue. That'll keep it all nice and neat and tidy, and I'll have everything at my fingertips then. I won't be staying in some luxurious mansion. I'll be staying in some unluxurious, slightly above a hovel grade, right? Because I'll be there for a while. I'll be there painting for the galleries. That's what I'll be there for. So I'll be gathering material, but that's what I normally do. I just move into a place, I'll stay for maybe 4 or 5 months, I may pay the rent for a year, I'll come in and out for a period of maybe 6 months or 4 months or 3 months, whatever it may be, whatever I care to do. And I just get a car, leave it there, and then I go about my business of painting pictures, right? I need to be there so I can get to the galleries and talk to the galleries. I need to be there so I can gather the material, the cowboys, the horses, all the other things I need to get. So that's how I keep myself freshed up for the paintings that I want to generate and put in galleries. Okay. So there's a couple of things you'll get from me this time if I do a workshop. Right? One will be you'll be working with me basically where I'm working. So you'll see how I go about things. It won't be sort of cut and dried. It'll be more sort of personal, more of a laid-back sort of place, particularly if I'm using it for where I am. And you don't need a big area, you know that. You don't need a huge area to do this. We just need to work together in a sensible way. So I'm just thinking of maybe 2 workshops in the US. But let me say, that's out of Las Vegas, but let me say this also. That if you, for example, in Georgia, in McDonough, which was a great location, and Rhonda and the girls there just put that together so well. And we had 2 workshops there, and it was a great venue, right? So that worked out really well. The economics of that weren't too bad. If there's 2 in one location, it's sort of doable, right? I can fly in there, I can find my accommodation for the 2 weeks, and I can make it work then, right? If it's up to me to get my accommodation right, it's up to me to get my tickets in there at the right price. So I'll be doing the same as you're doing to get to me, so I can get to you. So, for example, in Idaho, we've got Norma up there. We had a good workshop there last year, but there's another one come in from Spokane, which is just down the road. And so Spokane could be that close by. It's within 100 miles, so that could also work for me as well. All right, so they don't have to be overlapping, don't have to be on top of each other. They can be within a short distance. So I can get in, rent a car, fly in, have the workshops, then come out, leave the car at the airport and out again. So I'm not sort of stretching myself too much. So there's 2 possibilities there to think about. The dates of this, I'll be there sometime after May. I'll be there, so I'm talking about June. Maybe 1 workshop end of June, 1 workshop end of July. I've got to go to England in August, end of August. So, and then early September, and then I'll be back again. So I could possibly have a couple of more after that in October, November. December I'll possibly come back here. It's cooler here. It's perfect here now. So there's a framework of my thoughts and what we could possibly do together. All right. In the meantime, if you look at International Artist Magazine coming out, not this issue, maybe the one after the February issue, you'll start to see my things in there, and also advertising workshops in Italy for 2019, which will be under the umbrella of the International Artist Magazine, and they're a different sort of workshop again, right? So, but there's the thinking, and I'll arrive with all my wigs and my little punching ball here, right, which is all important. The dogs will stay here. Furby and Nunuk will not come with me. There goes Sarah's running away. And their dogs are over there. You right, your dogs? Furby, you right, Nunuk? Good boy. Bring the bear over here, Furby. Oh, he's not going to bring it over here. Yes, here he comes. He's got it. Okay, back to this. Now, while I've been yakking away, we've got this going. Right, now, so I'm going to put a bit of water in here. Where's my glasses? Huh. He's going to put a horse in here, is he? Well, let's see how he does that. Yes, you dogs, we're going to put a horse in. A hossy hoss. So I'm just going to throw a bit of thing across there, which could be water. So this is really about using a background we've used before and developing another painting. Okay, so there's a bit of water. Let's go down a bit further. Right. We might put a rock in here, a little bit of some rapids or something. Rock there. This was in Basalt in Colorado a couple of years ago. Graham and I were there going up and down the Frying Pan Valley or river. We came across some lovely little spots there. Now that could be a rapid. We could put some rapids in it. Let's look at our horse. Well, it looks like I'm going to do a running horse. Now people are scared of horses. Well, I'm not scared of horses. Again, standing straight. using the edge of the brush. I'm looking at where that horse is, where the back's going to be over here somewhere. I want the legs down here, the back leg in here. I'm going to come up the back leg to the back of his rump, in. The angle of his neck is about there, down, angle of his head's about there, that distance, head down to there. Dogs are getting excited, down there like that. There's his head, his chest, front leg, that direction, under here, there. Have I got it right? I might have to come across a bit more. And down I go. I'm just confirming my... Yeah, I know. Dog's getting excited. That one lays there like that. There's one there, that back leg, and that leg there. Okay. Now, rub it out. Well, don't rub it all out, but rub out some of it. So the cost of those workshops, look, I think about the same as last year. It'd be fine. You're coming to see me this time, so you've got extra expenses. So I think I'll keep it the same, Graham. Right. So there we've got the outline of the horse. So let's see if we can paint in the dark of the horse first. I need a bit of... no, that'll do. Back over. I'm just looking at where the dark is. I'm using this brush. I'm going to look at the magnifier in a moment because I can't really see. Some of that horse's head is disappearing in the background there. Back again. Don't be scared of horses. I'm looking at how the actual size of these, where that leg is, the angle of that leg, under there, this leg comes here like that. Just turn that fan brush on its side. Great brush, this fan brush. The more I use it, the more I like it. I still use the, don't worry about the pastry brush, it's still my number one go-to weapon. But for this sort of work, this brush is really, really good. Next few days, Graham and I are going to film about how I use each brush and the various ways of using each brush, the brushes I have. So, and we're going to post that somewhere or other, so that you can come in and see what I've done. Now, I may as well, the light's coming that way, but it's going to flash a bit of a shadow in anticipation of what's going to happen here. A splashing water. Where is that? Here it is here. I'm going to just put a little bit of a rock in here. He's running over into the darkness.
Yeah, Lon, I'll post a photo of it after all this.
Is that Lon?
Yeah.
Hi, Lon.
Hey, Deborah and Diane and everyone out
No,
there.
Debbie, Diane, good to talk to you
Roseanne.
all. Roseanne, good. Hi, everyone.
Anyone else losing the stream?
Are they losing it? Right, let's go back to this one now. Back we go. Put that there. I'll go to the magnifier. I need to have a good look at what's going on in here now. Now, the other thing we'll do in the workshops that are coming up, I'll be doing some outdoor painting, because in Italy in 2009 we won't be in a studio as such, so a lot of all the work will be outdoors. Now I know, for example, Lynn in Florida and the girls there were keen on outside painting. Well, I'll be doing that, but also I'll be combining it with painting indoors. In other words, we will be painting figures. But how, Robert, are you going to do it? Well, that is the magic question. And I have a way of doing it, believe you me. I've got a way of doing everything, believe you me. Now, I'm looking through the magnifier here to see that horse, right? Now, I'm up to that point where I want to start to get the detail right, because this horse has got to come out of this. So I'm going to use darks and lights. I've already laid in a thin coat of everything. I'm going to go for the thin coat of white, yellow on his nose. So here we go. So I've got to get a nice thin mix. Notice that's the third time I've been into that thinner. That thinner's got some linseed in it. And notice I'm getting that nicely loaded. Look at that. I'm resting my arm against here. I'm looking straight into this magnifier, and I want to make sure that what I put on here now is correct. And down I go. In it goes like that. Like that. Now you can see it happening. Now there's a little bit of blue where that white blaze on his face is in shadow, just in here. So I want to put that in now. Look at that. That's perfect. A little bit there. But this is what I can see. I'm not guessing any of this. See how that's already taking shape now? Okay, clean that brush a little bit. Let's come for more darks. See if we can find some real strong darks in there. So we just went up in value. Now we're going down in value. A little bit of green. So I've got blue, red and green. I could have a brown in there, like a Van Dyke or a burnt umber. But that should be able to... Where's his eye? It's there. And his nose is in here. It comes down like that. Now we're starting... Even that just starts to make a difference now. I turn that brush on its side. Look at it. That's starting to come out, that painting now. It might be the hat I've got on that's doing it. Now where's his ear? This is where you need the magnet. You cannot see that ear. I'm going to have to dig that ear out because his mane is wrapped in it. But there it is, and now I can just see the top of the other one.
What colour green are you using?
The green over here, this is lemon yellow, and this is vermilion. So those two, this is a real simple palette, right? Ultramarine, alizarin, now I should have permanent rose there, and lemon yellow. Those three will make any grey, right? If you come into like a vermilion and like a Van Dyke brown, or say a raw umber, and that gives you another set of greys that are beautiful as well. And the reason I'm working in greys is because of this. Let me show you. Swing it around here, right? This here is the sort of thing I'm working on at the moment. And you notice all the greys I'm working here with, right? So I'm just taking the palette I'm using to do that painting, which is the same as I've got up here, right? In this painting here to do this one, right? So, good question. So normally I've run out of permanent rose, but now let's go back to here. I'm going to go on the light side again. You'll say, I can't paint horse painting. Yes, you can paint horse painting. Yes, you can. There's none of this I can't business with me. That really, really gets up my nose. Now look at this. I'm just going to touch that there. Coming up in value, you can see it's slightly lighter. And this starts to pop out then. It's sitting on top of it. This is not the final touch, but I'm getting there. Around his rump there, I'm looking at how that light behaves on that horse's back, where it falls. I'm having a good look through the magnifier. I've just got to go a little bit longer out there. Okay. Come back to his chest. Now there's a bit of movement in his chest in here, which I want to get. And of course I want to say hello to everyone out there. I regard all the people that I met as very good friends of mine. Everyone. I had a wonderful time. Now look at that mane. See how we do that? Just flick it up. Look at that. You dogs look at that? Okay, now I'm going to pick his ears out a bit more. I'm going to clean that brush like that, put it between my fingers, tighten it, create a nice little knife, look through the magnifier, look at the ears and around the head of the horse. Now come in. This is not going to be thick, this is going to be thin. So plenty of thinner there. That's a bit more of a yellow. So when I go there, get a knife, use that knife edge, see what I've got now? Over I go. Ear. And the other ear is there. All right. And of course, there's more right in here. See that? Now come down to his chest. Down we come here. This is the second time we've touched this. Make sure we get our shapes right here. There. And then it comes in like that. Then there's a muscle area of the chest muscle there. Then the leg. Let me get this. There's a nice muscle there at the front of that leg. See that? We need to get that. Then there's another inside muscle there that I can see. And come down to his knee. It flattens out there, then it picks up again to his foreleg. Okay. Now coming back looking for some darks. See, this is not rocket science. In here, where's that muscle? on his chest. I hope the ones who were in my workshops last year are powering on. I know a lot of them are. I know in England, for example, Linda's classes over there, they're simply powering forward.
Are they still on the Seagull, or have they moved on?
No, they've moved on from the Seagull, Graham. It's a good question.
I'm still stuck on the Seagull.
Graham's still stuck on the Seagull, he said. Well, I don't blame him. He's got a... It's not easy to move off from Seagull. Seagulls are... I'm going to do a... we're going to be filming quite a bit since Graham's here. So you can expect to see a fair bit of material pop out of this studio.
Anything particularly you want Dad to teach? Let us know.
Yep. Tap dancing, anything. In here, where there's a nice dark in here again. There's a good dark there, look at that. Now we're going to dig out that back leg. See how dark that is. And let's find it in here.
Jenny said salsa.
Salsa? What, how to cook salsa?
Can you dance salsa?
Oh, salsa, yes. Jenny, I'll have to go into... I'll have to do a bit of revision work on the salsa part. But I know one of my sons can. Joe is... he can... I think Graham's... I'm not sure where Graham is with his dancing lessons now.
2 left feet.
He said 2 less feet. That's not true. That's not true at all.
Robin Green.
Robin, hello.
Painting lessons on how to paint waves.
Oh, how to paint waves? We can do that, Robin.
And reflections.
Well, Robin's in Wisconsin, remember, I think. Remember Robin, Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robin's very active. Loves painting. And very, very keen to learn, Robin. So now look at that. You can see the horse is just popping out. And that's just using, but it's also got, I've also got things in the right place. Now I'm going to dig into his nose here and just push that a bit more. And just there. Under there. These are the little things that make it all work. All work. And there's some darks in here. Strong dark there. Just to shape his head. There's the eye. Now can you see all that? Can they see in that, Graham, all that sort of stuff? It's amazing if they can see that. Yeah, look at that. That's incredible. I mean, how can anyone not paint that easy? Where's his tail? Tail's back here. You've got to have a tail on it for your dogs. You dogs have got tails. And the back of the horse is there. We didn't really get into painting horses in our workshops, but we can. And any workshop, we're going to build on what we did last year. So you're going to have a lot of notes and a lot of things that we're going to experiment with. Not so much experiment, but confirm. I expect you'll all have painted at least 100 seagulls. Now I'm just skidding. See how I skid that brush? I was teaching Graham the other day how you skid the brush. And you get a nice random look when you do. Look at that there. I'll skid it up there, and you get that, push it in and then just skid it up and down. Because that's the shadow. Now that's locked that horse down. Now he's charging through the water, and we've just got to put the water in. I'm going to wait for that to go off. There's a little bit more in his head up here. I'll come back in and put that blaze on his head, right? That's the signature part for this horse. Because everything else is the same, except that blaze. So I need a bit of yellow, and a little bit of white. Still thin. Still thin. Working it. Into there, back to here. Now, here we go. Now, Robert, see if you can do it. There we go. See how light that is now? And see how I can sit it on? Back. Pick up some more. Back. I want to get it so it sits on there. The trick is don't put too much paint on yet. A little bit of his head colour on there. There we go. Now that looks all right. Okay. Now let's look at this down here. I'm going to put this. I want to do this. This little bit of a rock down here. Can't really see much of it there, Graham. Can you? But you see that? Right. Well, I'm going to look at that through my magnifier because there's shapes in there that tell me that that's a rock. So I'm going to put that over the top, and then I'm going to look for the darks and the lights. Where's the darks will start to describe the shape. So I'm going to find a dark over here, look through that, and I'm going to. It goes up and down like that. Then there's another bit of the rock there. And underneath there's some parts. There's some darks right underneath there. So notice again, I'm skidding the brush. Over we go again. Get some more dark. Back in under here. See there, that's what I'm doing in here, Graham. Right, I'm looking at that dark. That's a dark in there, and over here it's in shadow. So when I look at through the magnifier, I can really see that. Right, now this is the advantage of this magnifier. I'm going to say it again. You could use a monitor and so forth, but it's not the same because, and I can hear a chorus of people say, because you're not working at the point of painting. Correct. So I'm here. Here's this photograph. I can look at the value through here to here. I don't have to reset my head, my brain. I can look with the eye open here and I can see there and there at the one time. I can see both of them at the one time. If I've got to look from here to here, right, I've got to remember that value and remember that colour. While I've got it against it, I'm in business. And this is a difference. If you're going to paint figurative paintings, you need to have something like this to make it work. So, let me look here. Now we've got some, I've just put in a shadow here. I'm going to put more shadow. So the water's going to tumble down here and it's going to break up, etc., 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 etc. Right. Okay, so now we've got the shape of something in there. Now, back into here. Let's look at this water. We're getting close to doing the water. Now, while I've been yakking away, that water has slowly, that paint has slowly gone off. By that I just mean cured a little bit. And we've got this water falling. Notice I'm skidding this brush again. We've got water falling over the edge here. Now I'm sure that in Lost Wages we can do all this with ease. Right, so now we're getting somewhere there. Look at that now. That's getting set up perfectly. Perfectly set up to kill this, to now move on. Just going to click a bit up here on the trees. Put a bit more. We've got that light coming across, so why don't we just make it work a bit more obviously. And that'll bring us into the horse nicely as well. Okay, so now we're getting into the horse. Back over, let's throw a bit of green in here. In here. And up in here. There we go. Right, now I've just opened it up a little bit more. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the water now, I think, Graham. Okay, I need now the other brush, the master brush. Here I've got to find the master brush. Where do we have I found one over here. Here's one. But these needs a bit of work. But you can see, yes, that is one of my brushes. Put that down there. Let me see if we get it back to normal. Now I said last week, I was talking to Debbie Burton, Debbie's got trouble with this brush here, right? The liner brush. And I said, use that shaping solution. I don't know if you had a go at it yet, Debbie, but you can buy it in Blix or somewhere. Where did we buy that, Graham?
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. We bought it, I think it was in, wherever it was. In Denver, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We got it in Denver, but I thought I'll try this sort of stuff and see and it worked really well, folks. It really did work. So now here's what I've got, right? So this is my, what's this brush?
Roundup.
There it is, there's my Roundup brush. Robert Hagen Roundup, it rounds up everything. It'll even round me up. Now I'm going to push those hairs back. You all know what I'm going to do. And here he goes. So I'm going to skip through that white paint. There's a bit of blue on there, that's all right. I'm going to somehow that looked a bit too fierce, but anyhow, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work, folks. It'll always work. Just nice little touches. Push those hairs back. Bit of a splash at the front here. Okay, back here. And up in here. And let's throw some up behind him. As he goes forward, he's leaving a trail of splash behind him like that. And maybe we've got some splash, little bits and pieces up in the air. Just water particles in suspension, a bit like me on a daily basis. And let all that water fly up like that. And now we've got a whole sense of action in there. Now we might be able to, where will we get the photographs? Put them down over here, I think, Graham. Here they are.
Ernest Jones wants to know how Jop went with the beach clean-up, remember?
Oh yeah, Jop went very well. Jop's moved on and built a house about 20 miles away from here. And where the house is, there's a big pond, which is about 40 metres across. And it was full of plastic bags and other debris. And how Jop set about in his usual caring way, an environmentally driven way, and he cleaned the whole lot up, right? And then he went beyond that and started to clean up about a mile around it. So, and there's a lot of people living there. And I said to Jop, do they take notice of you? Are they sort of picking up the the baton where you leave off and looking after things. He said, yeah, they do, but not as much as I'd like them to do. But so Jop's a driving force wherever he goes, and he's an inspiration for everyone. So there we are. So now let's come back here and see if I can be an inspiration here. So I want to get this look of water. It's bubbling over here, down this little... It's broken up because the horse has gone through there. And then it spills over this little ledge and then finds its way at the bottom and bubbles along there. And it's falling over here. Now I need to get some more white, I think. Is there white there, Graham? Oh, good. Graham, with one hand, has executed a pick-up of white. Now I'm going to see if I can just pick that up. And taking a look at this, it sits on the top and then it falls down like that. See that little stroke there? Let's do it again. There's my brush. I'm looking at how it's loaded, and that water sits on and then falls over like that. And then over here. And then it bubbles its way at the bottom here. So I'm going to come up again there, find an upward stroke. There you go. And then in there, I'm sure there's some little things in there. There's a little bit of red in there and yellow as a rock. Let me find it. This is where you need the magnifier. You can't do it. Forget about trying to do it without it. Now I've got some red in there, see that? And there, and a bit of yellow on top of that. Make it into a nice orange. That didn't work, try it again. Try it again. Here we go. That's that colour of the rock. There it is. Now you can see it. See that rock colour in there? Nice bit of red. And it's falling over that rock. More rock over here. Oh, there we go. Okay, now let's a few little dots and dashes up in here now. We need to get some more, a couple of more limbs. I might just see if I can pat my way through with a bit more. That's gone nicely touch dry now, and I can just add a little bit more character. Little shadow, little parts that just body it up a bit more. A little bit of light coming through here and snapping onto some foliage there. Come back over here, put some nice yellow in here. That's nice and thick there now, see that? So there we go, not too bad. Now we just need I want to put a couple of little drops of dark underneath the horse, just to settle that right in to make sure that horse is bedded down. So you got that nice suggestion of strong strong shadow into there. Come across there like that, and another one in there. There we go. Now that horse is really clumped into that scene. And we got our little bit of a wrap there. So let's take that off and have a look at that. I'll give it a sign. If it's any good, I'll sign it. If it's no good, I won't sign it. Take this off. That's like a little frame. Like a frame around it. And do we have a painting or not? Not too bad. Not too bad at that. Let's just sign it in my own little way. How about down here? There we go. Well, not quite. There, that's it. Not too bad. Horse running through the water. What do you think about now? Next we'll do a dog running through the water. We'll put Noonup and Furby running through the water. Noonup and Furby, you've got to go through the water next time. So there we are. So that style is the basis for all these paintings. Right? That style is the basis for all these paintings. No different. Think of what I used. 3 brushes. Key magnifier. Because that gets me into the detail and doesn't let me guess. Right? And we can't have any guessing. Now then, remember what I did before that? Bam, 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 and an uppercut. Now I nearly uppercut myself, but you need to get rid of any frustration you got before you start painting. So a couple of hours with the dogs, 5 minutes with a punching ball, a nice hat, and if you've got a lovely dress, then put a dress on, because see that gold in there? Listen, there's no worry. Don't worry about me. Don't ever worry about me. I'm okay. All right? I'm okay. Bob, Robert in where is it in with the vineyard, the psychiatrist.
From Portland.
Yeah, from Portland. Now Robert and Anita. Robert is a trick cyclist, and he said, I'm very well adjusted. He said, Robert, you're in good shape, right? Obviously, your life's been a bit different, but you are in good shape, so you don't need to worry about anything, right? He said, just keep on surging ahead. Surging is a word, and keep on making winners all the time, and just share your knowledge with a knowledge with everyone else. I'll say goodbye. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll post some more stuff up there about the workshops. Just think about it. There's no big commitment yet, but that's what we're going to do. But I'll put some more up in the next 2 days. Okay? And I want to thank Graham for being here and holding the camera up. And I want to thank the 2 dogs for being here and entertaining me and all that. And there we go. So if you want to know where I get my hats from and my wigs, I got one of those transparent wigs on underneath this hat. It's a beautiful wig, this one. You just comb it back and it's invisible. Actually, I can feel it there. But with the hat on, I look great out in the garden. So I'll see you next time. Enjoy your weekend. Look after your loved ones and make sure you walk the dog.